Hello, I am Maxim Presence, and this is Indigo Minute. I am excited to discuss with you the nature of our thoughts and answer questions like, where do thoughts come from? And where do thoughts go after we're done thinking them? And what are thoughts actually made of? What are the mechanics behind thought forms? And how can we use thoughts to consciously create and curate our personality construct, our character, in the way that we actually prefer, in the way that's most exciting to us? So, before I answer these questions, I'm going to bring us into the awareness of our presence, of our almighty I am presence. This presence that we are contains all that is. It contains all possibilities. It even contains the concept, the image of your complex character, your personality construct. Your sense of individuality is within your presence. Now, this presence of yours, it's so massive, so infinite and eternal, that it actually has multiple libraries within it of information, of archetypal information that relate to your individuality, that relate to your collective humanity, and relate to other aspects of you that are unimaginable at this point and not really relevant at this point. This presence of yours contains thought libraries. This presence of yours has a library where it holds all possible thoughts that you could possibly imagine within it. Think of the Library of Alexandria, how it had all this information, all these different books that you could check out. Well, this library of your presence contains a library of thoughts that is so much bigger than the biggest library in the physical world. It has literally infinite thoughts and thought combinations within it that you can choose from. And it's all accessible right now from the present now moment within your presence. So within you, you have this vast library of information that you can access right now because it exists within you, and you have unlimited access to it if you're aware that you do. And now that you're aware that you do, you can access it. So this library of thought, it contains all possible thought forms. And I'm going to label, just for analogy's sake, these thoughts as books that you can check out from this library. So all these thoughts that you think, they're actually thought forms that exist as non-physical, yet still tangible things that you can check out and perceive within your consciousness. So you could check out a thought, look at it, and decide what you're going to do with it in a conscious way. You're constantly checking out thoughts from this library of yours unconsciously all the time. Sometimes consciously, but most of the time unconsciously. And our goal as alchemists is to curate our personality, curate our character in a conscious way, so as we don't unconsciously check out thoughts that are detrimental, that are limiting to our expansion. Because our goal is to expand into more of who we are. So, in this library of thoughts, you get to decide which thoughts you're going to check out, and you put it on your workbench in your imagination. And you check out a thought, and you could decide, I'd like to think the thought happy. And once you check out that thought happy, you can look at it and observe it. Do you want to integrate this thought of happy into your individual character? Or do you want to integrate this thought happy into the collective character of your humanity, because we're all connected to our collective self as a human race. And so you could look at yourself individually like one human, or you could look at yourself collectively as the entire human race, as an identity that you are. Or you could continue to expand your identity into different collective consciousnesses. So you could take this thought and you can install it into your individual character. You can install it into your collective human character. Or you could just put it back into your library, which is within the presence, and not use it. Basically, check out the book, check it out, and decide to put it back. Or you can install it, like I said, into your individual self or your collective self as a collective identity of humanity itself. So the thoughts you think affect your collective consciousness as humanity, that identity that you are as humanity, and the identity that you are as an individual character. So it's important to understand that you can consciously curate which thought forms you check out from this library within your presence, and that you can actually check them, put them back out. You could return the books back into the library if they're no longer relevant for you to use them. So thoughts come from within you, and they're actual things. They're not just emptiness. They're actual things they're not physical, but they are energetic. And they are energetic in the sense that they are the building blocks of the physical. So all crystallized physical things, they're made of these non-physical components. And the alchemist knows that these non-physical components are what create physical reality. So these thoughts are actual physical, they're actual things that integrate and connect into physical reality. They're like the code, the energetic templates that physical reality is grown upon, is manifested from these templates. So by working with the templates themselves, you can change physical reality, because physical reality manifests from the code of these non-physical templates, these energetic templates. And thoughts are one of the key building blocks of that code. So, what is the actual thought made of? What is the nature of the thought? Well, thoughts are primarily electrical in nature, meaning they are like the boundaries or the cups of energy. So they are literally like the bare bone structure of the energetic that you're going to install into yourself. Think about like a house, and that house has, when it's built, it's the first thing that goes up is the architecture plans. The first thing is the foundation, the platform that the house sits on. And then because the house is three-dimensional, you have the core pillars that support the house, the foundational pillars of the house, like the walls and the roof, the bare bone structure of the house, so that you have the platform, and then you have the pillars of the house, which the walls and the roof are put on top. And basically it's like the bare bone structure, it's like the container. So the thoughts, think of them as like electrical lines that when they connect with each other, they create these platforms or housing structures, like outlines, you can say. And what they do is they work with they connect through sacred geometry patterns. So sacred geometry and thoughts are very interconnected, because in order to have any kind of physical experience, you have to have structure. So thoughts are the things that provide the structure. They're more masculine in nature than emotions, then, I would say. Although they have a feminine nature, obviously, but they are more masculine in nature because they provide the structure for which the emotion can be housed within, which then gives the activates that thought to create a action based upon that energetic structure. So the thoughts are like the cups, the forms that hold the emotions. They hold the energetics of the emotions that then make physical reality come to life. Physical reality is made of structure. It's all made of particles and building blocks. At the most fundamental level, physical reality is made of sacred geometry, because sacred geometry is, like, for example, the most basic form of sacred geometry is the triangle, because you have 3 points, and when you connect the 3 points, you get a platform or a small container that you could stand on or within. And if you add a 4th point, you make it 3-dimensional, you make it a little pyramid or a tetrahedron, and now you have a 3-dimensional shape these are the basic building blocks of physical reality. And then you could have more complex shapes like the square, or the cube, I should say, the icosahedron, the dodecahedron, and so on and so forth. So physical reality is made of structure, and thoughts are one of the primary structures. So thoughts are actually electrical in nature, and I like to imagine a thought as like a electrical light that creates a boundary. Kind of like it creates a boundary from which it says that this is where I stop and start. So let me give you an example of this so this can make more sense to you, of how you can use thoughts to create a thought form. So let's say the thought happy is a book that you want to check out. The thought happy itself is a thought that you can think, right? Now, happy, and you take that thought out of the library, you could even envision a book being checked out, and on the title of the book is the word happy, and you put it on your workbench in your imagination, and you're looking at that book. Now, happy is supported. You could support happy with 2 more thoughts that can support it. So in order to feel happy, maybe your other 2 supporting words are certain and capable. You're certain and you're capable in being happy. These 2 words could then be kind of supporting words that allow you to hold the word of happy. You're certain that you're happy. You're capable in being happy. You're capable and you're certain. And you're happy and you're certain. And you're certain and you're happy. So these thoughts, once you start to connect them, like imagine if happy was at the top of the triangle, certain was at the bottom left of the triangle, and capable was at the bottom right of the triangle. Now, each thought form is, like I said, this electrical light current of energy. And if you connect all 3 of those together, you get a triangle. And within that triangle, you have a very stable thought form of I'm happy, I'm certain, and I'm capable in myself, and I'm happy. It creates a certain kind of energetic that you can experience yourself from. And this is the most basic thought form you could create, a three form thought form, like a pyramid, a triangle. If you take another thought form like beautiful and you add that at the top, then you can create a pyramid, a tetrahedron, and basically you could create a three-dimensional thought form now that connects beautiful to happy, beautiful to capable, and beautiful to certain. And all those lines connect to each other to create a bare bones pyramid type structure. Now, just by thinking happy, just by thinking capable, or thinking certain, or thinking beautiful, that doesn't actually activate the thought form unless you add the emotions into it. So the thoughts are these energetic templates that you can use to create energetic structures. Basically, it's like you're rewriting the code to yourself, to your character. And you could use certain thoughts to combine them together to create certain states of being. And from those states of being, you can rewire your emotions, your belief systems, I should say, and create a character that acts from those new energetics. So to activate a thought, you have to use emotions. So in order to activate this platform of happy, certain, capable, and let's say beautiful, you have to start to add the emotional energy, which is, like I said, more feminine in nature because it's like pure raw energy. And I'll do a separate episode and discourse on emotions, but briefly, emotions are then kind of like that energetic mana that fills that structure and activates that thought form within you, because emotions activate thoughts. So emotions are thought, and thoughts are very interconnected together. They have to work together to activate these energetic templates within you. So your thoughts are like these structures that you think, and you've been thinking them all this time, primarily unconsciously, like automatically, instinctually. And what I'm suggesting here is that you could do this consciously, because this way you can consciously curate who you are by using thoughts, stringing them together into thought forms, adding the emotional energy into them, and creating and activating those thoughts within you, those thought forms within you, and basically changing your state of being, and therefore changing your belief, and therefore changing the type of actions you take, and therefore changing your actual life experience in a physical way. So I like to look at thoughts, especially when they're configured through sacred geometry and you connect them in these ways, creating these different pyramidal structures, or you could have more complex structures like the cube or icosahedron, or etc., etc. And you can take these thought form structures and you can consciously install them into your personality construct. I call it the personality construct because it is a construct that you've made, a symbol that you've made to represent yourself. So because it's a construct, you can alter that construct with different thought forms, and you can create that personality, that character, to be whatever you want it to be, as unlimited as you prefer, or as limited as you don't prefer or do prefer. So when we do meditations, we'll be working with the thought forms and the emotions to create these energetic templates consciously, and then we're going to install them into the different energy systems within our personality construct. And our personality construct is very complex, so it'll take some practice and actually doing these meditations to change ourselves. But you can install these thought forms into your different chakras, which are primary energy centers within the body. So you can install, for example, this energetic of happy and beautiful and certain and capable into your heart chakra, for example, or into your third eye chakra, or into your root chakra, wherever. And basically, as you install it, it'll integrate with your energy system, and it'll be kind of like you're adding a piece of a puzzle that is gonna change you by adding those new components into your energetic frequency. See, your personality construct is like an equation, very complex equation, but it's an equation nonetheless of different thought forms, emotional patterns, obviously definitions and belief systems. And when you work with the primary components of thoughts and emotions, you can then alter your belief system by installing them into your belief system, and therefore changing it. And you can build entire cities of thought forms within you that can dramatically change the idea you have about yourself. But the thing is, you have to do it consciously, and that's what I use meditation for. It's active. You actively imagine these things because your imagination is actually real. It's not some fluffy place that means nothing and has no effect on anything. It's actually the workbench of physical reality itself. Einstein said it's the preview to life's coming attractions, and it's a very nice way of saying that, because what you imagine will manifest in your future now moment. So if you imagine yourself creating these thought forms, installing them into your character, they will integrate, and I'll tell you this from experience because I've done this, they will change your consciousness. That is 100% guaranteed from my personal experience. Doing these meditations, installing the thought forms, running energy, working on your energy system consciously will change your consciousness and open you up into more stably perceiving yourself from that infinite eternal space where you have more power to create from. And then when you have that power to create from that infinite eternal presence that I reference constantly, you can then change your character, your avatar, into matching that expanded awareness, expanded space. So we're working on our consciousness, and as we elevate our consciousness, we could then elevate the very symbol of the body itself. So the thought forms are really crucial. They're the building blocks of your personality construct. And to recap, thoughts they all exist as choices within you, within this library of thoughts within your presence. You can take out any thought that you want, and then you can connect it with other thoughts. You can then add the emotional energy into those thought forms that you build through sacred geometry. Then you take those geometric patterns and install them into your energy system, into your etheric body, which is basically like your energy body on top of which the physical body is grown upon. And then basically you can change your character in this way into more expanded character. So this is how you can use your consciousness to elevate the idea of the body into an entirely new configuration. And it's really exciting because this is like a frontier that's it has so much limitless possibility, and we're just scratching the surface of what's possible, of how far you can take this, how limitless you can create yourself to be. And all of this is done in your imagination workspace through actively imagining these things, actively as the presence, installing them into your character. Or on the flip side, you can actively uninstall negative beliefs you have about yourself. You can deconstruct fear templates that you hold within yourself. You can deconstruct thought forms of unworthiness. Because the key understanding here is that if you feel that you're lacking confidence, or you're lacking something, or you're afraid of something, that fear, that lack, those ideas, they are actual thought forms within your energy body, within you. And they are stably in place with like lots of force fields and things like that. And you can demagnetize them. You can uninstall them basically bit by bit, so that you actually don't have the lack consciousness anymore. You don't have the fear consciousness anymore. That is a real possibility, because these negative thought forms, you installed them, or you agreed to install them in an unconscious way in some shape or form to limit yourself. And so you can actually use the same principles of creation that I'm discussing to creatively deconstruct all the negative templates that are running within you. Because going back to the belief system idea, which there's a podcast that introduces belief systems, thoughts, emotions, and actions. Going back to the belief system idea, you can look at your belief system and you can uninstall these negative ideas that you have about yourself, because the job of a belief system is once you install a bunch of thought forms into you, they kind of conglomerate together. They lock into each other. They work together. They integrate into your whole energy system. So if you install a bunch of really positive thought forms and geometric configurations of thoughts into your personality construct, they're going to lock together. They're going to fuse together, work together to create a belief system. And once you have that belief system, which is basically a clear definition about this is who I am, made of a bunch of these thoughts and emotions, then you automatically will start to produce thoughts, produce emotions that will spring from this belief system. So thoughts and emotions are the building blocks of your definitions that you have about yourself, of your beliefs that you have about yourself. So if you have negative beliefs about yourself, what you can do is deconstruct all the thoughts and emotional patterns that hold that belief in place. And once you deconstruct those pieces, kind of take out all the pins that hold it all together, that belief system will fall apart, and it will no longer automatically reinforce itself, producing negative ideas about yourself. So the thing about belief systems is that once you use these thoughts and emotions to create one, that belief system will automatically attract or make appear within your consciousness the thoughts and the emotions that relate to that belief system. It's going to become like a mini factory. It'll like continue to produce pop-in thoughts and emotions wherever relevant from the nature of that belief system. But again, it was made by you, so you could change it, you can deconstruct it, or you could create new ones. So thoughts are a really magical thing. They are amazing. It's so fascinating how you have all these complex thought forms that make up your personality. They're filled with all this emotional energy. They form the basis of your belief systems. And who you believe you are is basically the place, the identity you take action from. And therefore, that's how you create or have your life experience. So imagine if you can use thought forms. Check out all these limitless thoughts, refined thought frequencies of high beauty and elegance and mastery and confidence and certainty and capableness and so many nice, refined, juicy thought forms, and feel the emotions behind them. Imagine if you could build your ship to become a multi-dimensional ship, a body, a symbol that can perceive more, that can experience more, that doesn't have the same limits anymore. So we are just scratching the surface of what's possible, but these are the mechanics of how you create yourself, and thoughts are a fundamental building block to your personality construct, your character. So this has been an introduction to thought forms, and we'll be doing some meditations and things to use these concepts and actually install them and start to elevate our sense of self, our consciousness, our physical body into greater and greater expansions of who and what we are. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to share this information. I'm wishing you so much blessings and love and light and peace, peace, peace. May peace be with you.